hope everyone is doing good, and let's start today's video. In this video, I'll cover kingdom Monera as well as Protista. So let's start our video with the first kingdom Monera. Bacteria are the sole members of the kingdom Monera. They are the most abundant microorganisms. Bacteria occur almost everywhere. Hundreds of bacteria are present in a handful of soil. They also live in extreme habitats such as hot springs, deserts, snows, and deep oceans where very few other life forms can survive. Many of them live in or on other organisms as parasites. Bacteria are grouped under 4 categories based on their shape: the spherical coccus, plural cocci; the rod-shaped bacillus, plural bacilli; the comma-shaped vibrium, plural vibrio; and the spiral, spirillum, plural spirilla. Though the bacterial structure is very simple, they are very complex in behavior. Compared to many other organisms, bacteria as a group show the most extensive metabolic diversity. Some of the bacteria are autotrophic, that is, they synthesize their own food from inorganic substrates. They may be photosynthetic autotrophic or chemosynthetic autotrophic. The vast majority of bacteria are heterotrophs, that is, they depend on other organisms or on dead organic matter for food. Archaebacteria. These bacteria are special since they live in some of the most harsh habitats such as extreme salty areas, halophiles, hot springs, thermoacidophiles, and marshy areas, methanogens. Archaebacteria differ from other bacteria in having a different cell wall structure, and this feature is responsible for their survival in extreme conditions. Methanogens are present in the gut of several ruminant animals such as cows and buffaloes, and they are responsible for the production of methane biogas from the dung of these animals. Eubacteria. There are thousands of different eubacteria or true bacteria. They are characterized by the presence of a rigid cell wall and, if motile, a flagellum. The cyanobacteria, also referred to as blue-green algae, have chlorophyll A similar to green plants and are photosynthetic autotrophs. The cyanobacteria are unicellular, colonial or filamentous, freshwater or marine, or terrestrial algae. The colonies are generally surrounded by gelatinous shells. They often form blooms in polluted water bodies. Some of these organisms can fix atmospheric nitrogen in specialized cells called heterocysts. Example: nostoc and anabina. Chemosynthetic autotrophic bacteria oxidizes various inorganic substances such as nitrates, nitrites, and ammonia, and use the released energy for their ATP production. They play a great role in recycling nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, iron, and sulfur. Heterotrophic bacteria are most abundant in nature. The majority are important decomposers. Many of them have a significant impact on human affairs. They help in making curd from milk, production of antibiotics, fixing nitrogen in legume roots, etc. See this figure 2.2, a filamentous blue-green algae nostoc. It is very important figure showing heterocyst and mucilaginous shell. Some are pathogens causing damage to human beings, crops, farm animals, and pets. Chlorella, typhoid, tetanus, and citrus canker are well-known diseases caused by different bacteria. Bacteria reproduce mainly by fission. Sometimes, under unfavorable conditions, they produce spores. They can reproduce by a short of sexual reproduction. by adopting a primitive type of DNA transfer from one bacterium to another. In figure 2.3, our dividing bacterium is shown where there is transfer of DNA. The mycoplasma are organisms that completely lack a cell wall. They are the smallest living cells known and can survive without oxygen. Many mycoplasma are pathogenic in animals and plants. Now let's start second kingdom, kingdom Protista. All single-cell eukaryotes are placed under Protista, but the boundaries of this kingdom are not well defined. What may be a photosynthetic protestant to one biologist may be a plant to another. In this book, we include chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime moths, and protozoans under Protista. Members of Protista are primarily aquatic. This kingdom forms a link with others dealing with plants, animals, and fungi. Being eukaryotes, the protestant cell body contains a well-defined nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles. Some have flagella or cilia. Protists reproduce asexually and sexually by a process involving cell fusion and zygote formation. First, chrysophytes. This group includes diatoms and golden algae desmites. They are found in fresh water as well as in marine environments. They are microscopic and float passively in water currents, plankton. Most of them are photosynthetic. In diatoms, the cell walls form two thin overlapping shells which fit together as in a soap box. The walls are embedded with silica and thus the walls are indestructible. Thus, diatoms have left behind large amount of cell wall deposits in their habitat. This accumulation over billions of years is referred to as diatomaceous earth. Being gritty, this soil is used in polishing, filtration of oils and syrups. Diatoms are the chief producers in the oceans. Second, dinoflagellates. These organisms are mostly marine and photosynthetic. They appear yellow, green, brown, blue, or red depending on the main pigments present in their cells. The cell wall has stiff cellulose plates on their outer surface. Most of them have two flagella, one lies longitudinally and the other transversely in a furrow between the wall plates. Very often, red dinoflagellates, example corneolix, undergo rapid multiplication that they make the sea appear red tides. Toxins released by such large numbers may even kill other marine animals such as fishes. The figure on the right hand side is of dinoflagellates. Third, euglenoids. Majority of them are freshwater organisms found in stagnant water. Instead of a cell wall, they have a protein-rich layer called ballistol, which makes their body flexible. They have two flagella, a short and a long one. Though they are photosynthetic in the presence of sunlight, when deprived of sunlight, they behave like heterotrophs by predating on other smaller organisms. Interestingly, the pigments of euglenoids are identical to those present in higher plants. Example, euglena. Fourth, slime moths. Slime moths are saprophytic protists. The body moves along decaying twigs and leaves engulfing organic material. Under suitable conditions, they form an aggregation called Plasmodium, which may grow and spread over several feet. During unfavorable conditions, the Plasmodium differentiates and forms fruiting body, bearing spores at their tips. The spore possesses true walls. They are extremely resistant and survive for many years, even under adverse conditions. The spores are dispersed by air currents. Figure B is of Euglena, C of slime mound, and D of paramecium. Fifth, protozoans. All protozoans are heterotrophs and live as predators or parasites. They are believed to be primitive relatives of animals. There are four major groups of protozoans. First is amoeboid protozoans. These organisms live in fresh water, seawater, or moist soil. They move and capture their prey by putting out pseudopodia, false feet, as in amoeba. Marine forms have silica cells on their surface. Some of them, such as entamoeba, are parasites. Second, flagellated protozoans. The members of this group are either free-living or parasitic. They have flagella. The parasitic forms cause diseases such as sleeping sickness, example trypanosoma. Ciliated protozoan. Third, these are aquatic, actively moving organisms because of the presence of thousands of cilia. They have a cavity gullet that opens to the outside of the cell surface. The coordinated movement of row of cilia causes the water-laden wet food to be stirred into the gullet, for example, paramecium. 4. Sporazoans. This includes diverse organisms that have an infectious spore-like stage in their life cycle. The most notorious is Plasmodium, malarial parasite which causes malaria, a disease which has a staggering effect on human population. So that's all about Kingdom Monera and Protista. We'll proceed with Kingdom Fungi in the next video. Thanks a lot for hearing so carefully. All the best.